So today I'm going to talk about what tools you should carry on your motorcycle. Now I know a lot of you will say I don't need to carry tools, I've got a credit card and I've got AAA. That's great, but if you're in an area that's got no cell service, then that's not really a lot of good to you, is it? And I know that because the first thing I talk about that I think everyone should carry is a battery power pack, like this one. You get them on Amazon, you get them everywhere, right? This has got me out of jail, right? I wasn't on my Goldwing, I was on my Harley. I was in Maryland mountains up at Fort Ritchie, Dead Sale area, and my battery died riding there. And I thought, oh my God, but luckily I had this with me. So it's very easy to jump start a Harley with these, much easier than any other bike actually, because you don't have to take the seat off to get to the battery. You can just connect it straight onto the starter motor and away it goes. As I said, if I just had a credit card and a cell, I'd have been stuffed, quite simply. But, you know, pays your money, you take your choices. What you can see here is what I carry on my bike. Those pouches, they actually come as a set of 3 on Amazon, and they're the perfect size for putting bits and pieces in. And I've got it set up in such a way that each one is separate, so I know exactly what's in what bag. It makes it much easier to find. I'll put a link below for these bags. I think these pack of 3 was something like $8 or something. No money at all. So let's have a look what I carry. Okay, so this light green bag, this is my tools bag, I'm going to call it. I can carry everything in there that I need to be able to service this motorcycle if I'm away from home. So there's an 8mm socket there, which is for the transmission filter. I've got a 17mm socket, which I use on the oil filters. And the other thing that I brought were these. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I go to pick up an Allen key, I always pick up the wrong size. Because I just do. Whereas these are colour coded, which is so simple. And I know for a start, like I've got a traction belly pan on this bike. I know that this yellow one fits the screws to take it off. It is a 5mm, but I don't even think about it, I just look at the colour. So once you've used them a few times, you know which colours are which. It's just a nice simple little thing, and they're in a nice little case here that holds them all in place nicely. So that's their little torch. You've got to carry some zip ties, everybody carries zip ties. And I've got a few other tools in there like screwdrivers and a pair of pliers, but nothing major, but enough to get me out of trouble. Okay, my next bag is the black one, which as you can see carries everything to do with tyres. So electric pump, it's already, I preset it 40, that's the pressure I run, and it works very well. Now, one thing that's an issue on all motorcycles, I think, especially baggers, is when you're trying to get at the valve on the back tyre. You have to lay on the floor, then you have to screw this on. It's a nightmare. So what I did, I purchased these on Amazon, and these just simply screw on. I won't do it up tight, but you screw that on there, and then you can just clip it on your valve. Nice and simple. And then, but you must remember to take it back off. You can't leave it on, unfortunately, because the trigger for turning this off is in here. So you have to take it off each time. So that's there. I've got a tyre depth gauge just to keep an eye on my tyres, see how much tread I've got left on them, which I need for my warranty, because I've got a tyre and wheel package on this, and they will only cover it if the tyres have got a certain amount of tread. So that's why I carry that. And then a little tyre pressure gauge, so I can just double check my tyres all the times. And finally, and I haven't used these yet, is a plug repair kit. So instead of using the old rope system where you have to ream the hole out and pull it through and whatever, these you just find your nail or screw or whatever it is in your tyre, pull it out, and then these are just, you see they're like little plugs, they're rubber plugs, and they've got glue on them, and you just screw them in, and it's meant to seal it. I don't know, I haven't used them yet, but I carry it just in case. So that's my black bag. And finally, my light green bag. That carries straps and a cargo net. When travelling, I initially found it quite challenging, shall we say, because I'm on a bagger on how to put stuff on and make sure it stays there. The rear rack is not a problem because you can easily go round. But what I found was, if I had a rucksack on my rear seat, I had to find a way of trying to attach it. Now, those of you know that trying to attach to that passenger grab handle is pretty near impossible. But what I did find was, by fitting two of these straps together, makes it very long, one long strap. And then what I do is I tuck one part around this front and one part around the back, and then I've got whatever it is here, my bag, whatever, cross it over, and then do the same on this side and do the straps up, and that will hold it down securely. Very securely indeed. It doesn't move. So I do carry too many straps, but it just means I just know where they are all the time. So how does this all fit in the bike? I keep saying my pet hate on a Goldwing is the saddlebags. Compared with Harley, they suck, quite simply. I don't like them at all. They're small, unusable, and a horrible shape. But it is what it is. So let me show you how I put stuff in there. Okay, so there's my bag, it's pretty much empty. So the first thing is I put this in here, back in this corner, and it tucks in quite nice. Then I take my tools, and they go in behind it. They tuck in nicely, get them right back out of the way, trying to keep as much room as possible. The straps, because they're very flexible, there's nothing hard or small in there. I could normally wedge that on the top there. So we're all doing pretty good so far. And then finally, this is my pump. And then I just lay that on the bottom there like that. Then we can see that I've got a bit of room still in there. So what I can put in there is my wet weather gear. Just fits in there. One cleaning rag. Like so. Everything's all in place. Wear the gear in Florida in the summer, you're probably going to need it. Maybe not. So there's what I use. Maybe you use more, maybe you use less. But I think that's the minimum that I would want on this bike, basically. The battery power pack I've had for a few years. 3 times it's got me out of trouble, and I've used it 6 times for other people. It's an amazing thing to have. It really honestly is. I would say every bike should carry one, because the bikes don't give you no warning when the battery's about to go. So, you know, it's up to you guys. But like I say, I will leave a link to those bags. They're very useful. I was looking for something to use on the bike, to put a few bits and pieces in, and I found those, and I think they're the perfect size. They're well made, and they're not expensive, you know, and they're perfect size to hold tools, however many you want. So anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.